You're still calling it a relationship, but deep down, you know it's over. No more peace, no more joy, just prayer that feels unanswered, and a heart that feels tired. Some relationships don't end with a breakup. They end in silence, in distance, in dead prayer lives, and lost purpose. Yes, you're still together, but something sacred is missing. Could it be that you're still holding on, but God has already let go? Could it be that the grace for this relationship has expired? Let's talk about how to recognize when relationship has spiritually expired before it costs you your purpose. Let's talk about it from a faith-filled biblical perspective. Hey family! Welcome back to the channel where faith meets real life talk. It's Dr. Molola Omoshebi here. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button and join this growing community of people who want to thrive in love and have God at the center of their relationships. Make sure to turn on the notification bell also so that you do not miss any video. Today's message is deep and it may be a little uncomfortable, but it's necessary because staying in a relationship that has expired doesn't just hurt your heart. It can actually stagnate your calling. So in this video, we're going to explore 10 signs that your relationship is no longer in alignment with God's will and what to do about it. You see, some believers are holding on to relationships that God has already walked away from. Let's take a look at how to know when to let go. So let's get into it. Number one sign, your peace has been replaced by confusion. If you are constantly overthinking, second guessing, feeling unsure or mentally drained, it's not just relationship stress. It could be spiritual misalignment. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, according to 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 33. God leads through peace, not confusion. If you no longer have peace, the relationship may be operating outside of God's will. Colossians chapter 3 verse 15 says, "Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts." So, if you constantly feel anxious, drained, or confused about the relationship, that's not peace. That's a red flag. Has peace left the building? When a relationship loses peace, it may have lost God's presence. Number two, you're growing spiritually, but your partner isn't. If you're developing spiritually, seeking God, growing in character, but your partner is stagnant in some way or hostile to spiritual things, the relationship becomes heavy and imbalanced. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 says, "Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers." On the flip side, you may also be experiencing stunted growth, spiritually and emotionally. Hebrews chapter 5 verse 12, for instance, addresses this. It says, "By this time you ought to be teachers, but you still need milk." That means you're not growing. If you're stuck in the same toxic cycles, having the same fights, facing the same immaturity year after year, something is definitely wrong. A mismatch in spiritual hunger is a serious sign that the grace to walk together may have expired. Relationships should refine you and not confine you. Number three, you are constantly compromising your values. If conviction is being replaced with compromise, there is definitely an issue right there. So, are you doing things in this relationship that you once told God you'd never do again? Are you silencing your convictions to keep your partner happy? Have you stopped guarding your purity, your standards, your spiritual life? According to Romans chapter 12 verse 1 and 2, the Bible makes us to realize that we must not conform to the pattern of this world. When a relationship requires you to lower your spiritual standard, it's not love, it's a trap. And I say, run. When compromise replaces conviction, the relationship has definitely drifted from God's will. It may still feel exciting, but it's spiritually expired. Number four, You are holding on to that relationship out of fear, not faith. Are you staying in that relationship because you are afraid of being alone? Because you've invested too much? Now, that is not faith. That's fear disguised as loyalty. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 makes us realize that God has not given us a spirit of fear. God never calls us to cling to dysfunction out of fear. When something is from Him, it doesn't require anxiety to maintain. Number 5, you don't feel safe emotionally or spiritually. Emotional safety is a key marker of a healthy relationship. If you're always walking on eggshells, if there's manipulation, spiritual guilt tripping, or a pattern of disrespect, it's time to reevaluate that relationship. God's love is rooted in freedom and security, not fear and shame. Number 6, and I must tell you, this is actually very critical for me. When the relationship pulls you away from purpose. When purpose is no longer aligned, that is a call for caution. Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" You know the obvious answer to that question. Both of you once dreamed together. You prayed together, but now you don't even want the same life. You used to be very passionate about your calling, your business, your ministry. But ever since this relationship started, your fire has gone out. When the vision dies, the relationship becomes a distraction, not a destiny move. A godly relationship should sharpen you, not distract you from your purpose. If you are drifting away from your God-given assignment, it may be because the relationship was not God-given to begin with. Don't stay in a connection that's taking you away from your calling. Number 7, prayer and accountability are dead. Relationships that last are fueled by shared spiritual rhythms, prayer, honesty, community. If prayer feels first or has vanished completely, there is a problem. If the relationship started in prayer, but now it's all flesh, all entertainment, no discipline, it's a serious sign that the relationship has drifted from its spiritual foundation. So, watch out when you can't even pray together anymore, or worse, when your relationship pulls you away from God instead of toward Him. It's a sign that you need to do something. A relationship centered on God should be prayer-powered. If prayer dies, intimacy with God dies. And if intimacy with God dies, so will intimacy with each other. And if there's no godly accountability, dysfunction becomes normalized. Number 8, you feel more lonely in the relationship than alone. If you feel alone, even when you're together, that calls for concern. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely with someone. If you're constantly feeling emotionally unsupported, unheard, or spiritually disconnected, what you have may be a partnership in name alone, not in truth. When you constantly feel emotionally or spiritually abandoned, even in your partner's presence, it's a deep sign that connection has withered. Loneliness inside a relationship is more painful than loneliness alone. God created companionship to be nurturing, not just transactional. And God did not create covenant to make you feel invisible. Number 9, God keeps giving you red flags, but you keep ignoring them. Are you asking God to bless what He is trying to block? If red flags keep showing up, infidelity, emotional abuse, inconsistency, rebellion, and you're still trying to force it to work, you may be in a relationship that expired long ago, but you're still trying to resuscitate it. Don't ignore the warning signs. Sometimes God whispers, but sometimes He clears the whole room. Finally, at number 10, you're more in love with the idea than the reality. Sometimes we are in love with what we hoped they'd become. Sometimes We're in love with how things used to be. But staying for potential is not the same as staying for purpose. Don't idolize the memory. Recognize the reality. Sometimes God ends things for your protection and not for punishment. So, if these signs hit home, pause and ask yourself, Lord, did you assign this relationship or did I? Pray for clarity, seek godly counsel, and don't be afraid to walk away from what no longer carries grace. Letting go doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you're choosing faith over fantasy. Sometimes God allows a relationship to die because it has already served its purpose for a season. Not every relationship is meant to lead to marriage. Some are meant to reveal what still needs healing inside of you. Remember Lot's wife? She turned into a pillar of salt because she looked back. Don't become stuck in the past that God already delivered you from. Letting go isn't failure, it is obedience. So, let me ask you, which of these signs have you seen in your past relationships or you are seeing right now? Be honest in the comments. Your story might help someone else get free. If you feel like your relationship has expired, I want to remind you of this. God loves you too much to let you stay stuck. Let Him do the surgery. Let Him close the doors that are costing you your peace, purpose, and His presence. You are not losing love. You're making space for real love. You don't have to stay where grace has left. I hope that you have been inspired by this video. If it has spoken to you, give it a like, subscribe for more weekly faith-based relationship content, and share this with someone who needs it or that you just think might need it. Your heart matters. Your destiny matters. And sometimes the first act of self-love is letting go. Remember, God is not the author of confusion. He is the author of clarity. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until I come your way in the next one, bye.